a bucket and a foul. Breakaway. Io.
Oh, meet me at the rim and don't be late.
Give me the hot sauce. Did you not get the memo? Derek Rose can go upstairs.
Oh, he's Gimme to steal. Right for the lead. Yeah!
Big time play. Big time play.
Gimme for the win. Go!
My God, I cannot believe it.
Hey, we've reached the NBA All-Star break, and it's time for all of us to exhale and take a break. It's been a rough go the last few weeks. The Chicago Bulls. Stacey King's in the house. Tim Kelley alongside. And Stacey, it's good to have you here in our beautiful studio.
I kind of forgot what it looked like, Mark. It's been a while, you know. I've been down.
Soak it in.
I've been down at the Thug Mansion, and I kind of forgot what the studio. I missed the feel of the studio, man. I miss being here with you guys, and I'm glad to be back.
So you're actually going to be able to get away for a few days. That's going to be nice.
Yes, you know, my good friend Timmy Whispers over here. He finally conceded to let me stay at his palatial, whatever that word is. What is it called? Palatial. I'm so tired. They got it at 2:30. But he's let me stay there. He told me, as long as I take care of his house, don't burn it down, don't throw any wild parties, girls going wild parties.
Clean the sheets and towels.
Yeah, clean the sheets and towels, which I plan on doing. But no, I'm going down and stay at this place. I'm looking forward to it. Just get out of here for a little bit. I need a break. Last summer I didn't really get a chance to go anywhere. I normally go to 2 or 3 places in the summertime, but my nephew tore his ACL, so I had to be a nursemaid, running him to and from doctor's appointments, rehab. So I didn't get to go on vacation during the summertime. And normally, about September I go on my last trip, and then I get recharged and I get, I'm ready to go back to work. This year I didn't get that, and it was kind of, going into the season, I felt like I was in like tar. I just felt like I felt really sluggish and didn't have the energy that I needed. So this break is coming at the right time.
Did your nephew get back to playing? I know there's some questions.
No, we're holding him out. No, we're not gonna let him play. He's still rehabbing right now. It's a 12-month rehab.
Yeah,
He's ahead of schedule right now. I think he's in month 9. He could possibly play if he really wanted to. Right, if we really let him play, he could play right now. He's at Oak Park River Forest High School, and we could let him play, but his parents want to hold him out and let him heal up and get stronger. And then, we'll address it later in the summer.
It's interesting, too. That leads us into one of the NBA topics we're going to cover in regards to Jason Tatum. Remember all the heat Derrick Rose took when he sat out that entire year? Now Jason Tatum's kind of hinting like, I'm playing 5-on-5 and I'm doing some full-court work, but I'm not sure if I'm going to come back. There's that mental hurdle you have to clear as well as the physical one.
Well, we were talking to Boston people yesterday. Some guys that are in the know, and they said he's progressing really nicely with the rehab, and that he probably could come back.
Yeah.
But there's this not in his mind like he couldn't come back. I think what the guy told me yesterday, the team is playing so well without him and better than expected. He doesn't know where he's going to fit into when he does come back. You know what I'm saying? Because when he left, he was option number 1. And now that he's out, Jaylen Brown has ascended to the option number 1. They're much better than what people thought. They thought, once Porzingis was gone and then you lost Drew Holiday and you lost Al Horford, that they were going to be a team that might be in the play-in game, but they've surprised everybody. They're not too far out of the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. They played well all year long. They started off slow. Their first 12 games, I think they were under 500, but they were able to right the ship, and they've been one of the hottest teams since.
And now they added Vooch, and Vooch had a big game against his former team. What was that scene like? I know he's getting hugs from all his teammates and the coaches and everybody else. Vooch obviously seems re-energized to play for a team that's tied for second in the East right now.
Well, this is really his first opportunity to play for a winning team that has a chance to go deep into the playoffs, not just the first round, but possibly, the Eastern Conference Finals and beyond. So he's rejuvenated. I watched him yesterday, and I said this about Vooch. I said, once he got to Boston and he saw, you play against Boston, so you know how they play. They compete on every possession. They're one of the best defensive teams in the NBA. He would conform to all that once he got there. He's not going to be the guy holding them back. You know what I'm saying? So you saw yesterday. I mean, he's out there trapping pick and rolls. He was blocking a couple shots, rim protection, things that we never saw him do consistently in Chicago. The defense kind of not, rotating quick, kind of just out there, but not, out there, but not out there, you know. And I think he was frustrated a lot, because, you're not winning here. You don't have a chance in his eyes as a veteran player. You may have to finish your career out, on a team that's losing. And then to find out that no one's wanted you the last couple of years when your name's supposedly been out in the trade rumors, and you hear all these people saying nobody wants Vuce, so you might start doubting yourself a little bit. You might just he might have started saying it's like, well, I'm just going to be here for the rest of my career and retire, in a situation where I'm not going to win. So now he's on a good team. You can tell he's been reinvigorated. The energy level's there, and it was fun watching him play. I'm glad because he was a good pro. He's a good vet for these young guys. He wasn't a bad guy. No one will have a bad word to say about Vuce. And like I said, I'll give the Bulls credit, AK and Mark Evans in the front office. They put these guys in position where they can go deep in the playoffs. I mean, you look at Io is having a fun, is like fit in nicely in Minnesota, which I knew he would. They're talking about him now starting, instead of coming off the bench because him and Ant play well together. And then, defensively, he's a very good defensive player, on-ball defensive player, but he now has a rim protector back there, so he can gamble more. He can go for steals more, and if he gets beat, he knows he got Rudy Gobert back there to stop that. But he's having a really good time out there. Kobe hasn't played yet. He's got the calf
Kevin
injury.
Huerter's in Detroit.
Kevin Huerter's in Detroit. Yeah, he's on the best team. So all these guys got traded to places where they will thrive, where they'll have some success. And, we got some guys that, they're going to have to make some decisions on.
If Tatum comes back, do you think Boston can win the East, or you still like Detroit being the favorite heading into the playoffs?
No, because I think as talented as Jason Tatum is, Mark, I feel like because of that injury, he's not going to be 100%, and he's going to be thinking about it a little bit here and there about cutting. And because when he got hurt, it was just a routine move. It wasn't like he was exploding anywhere. It was just like a slide. So that's got to play. That's got to play an important role in his head. I think right now, Detroit would be the favorite because they are the number one team in the East. But the team I would be worried about if I was anybody is Philadelphia.
Yeah, if they're healthy.
I'm telling you right now, Embiid is playing like, he's playing like he looks like his knees are healthy. They're resting him at the right time. They're not letting him play back-to-backs. But he looks like he's moving 1,000 times better than what he did when they were before injury, before he set out all those games. They got to get Paul George back, who's on that suspension for 20-plus games. But he was starting to play good coming back from injury. VJ Edgecombe, the rookies, played extremely well. I know that, Con Knipple and Flagg get all the attention, but Edgecombe has been solid all season long for Philadelphia. And then Maxey has been playing out of his mind. I mean, he's showing that he's an elite point guard in this game, and that, when they get all the pieces together, they can be scary.
What you think of the fight with Isaiah Stewart, Beef Stew? I mean, he's always in the middle of these things. He got that 7-game suspension. Jalen Duren, Miles Bridges were also involved in that, as well as Moussa Diabate, the center for the Charlotte Hornets. 7 games for Stewart. I guess that was well-deserved. He came charging off the bench looking for trouble there.
Well, I like it, to be honest with you. I mean, seriously.
The old Pistons are back.
Bad boys.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all this soft basketball and all this, like, we're friends, we're on the banana boat. Like, I'm glad to see that there's a team out there that they don't mind being the bad guys. They don't mind wearing the black hat. They don't mind being the team that everybody doesn't want to play. They're intimidating. They're intimidating teams. They play hard, they compete. And now this is a team 2 years ago who set the record in losses. And now here they are sitting on top of the Eastern Conference. I don't think anyone anticipated that Detroit would be the best team in the Eastern Conference this year. I've been calling it. I said, hey, last year I said, hey, that's not no fluke where they were the fifth best team in the East. And then this year I said, watch out for them.
Yeah, Cade Cunningham's a top 10 player in the league now.
See, that's when you're talking about, like, you look at the Bulls situation, that's what they're missing is a star player.
Yeah.
And Cade Cunningham.
Gotta get some lottery luck.
Cade Cunningham was built through the draft. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then they were able to get other draft pieces. Duren there with Thompson. Stewart, Ron Holland.
Yeah.
They were able to get some other young talent to go along with their star player, Cade Cunningham. That's what the Bulls got to do this year in this draft. They can't miss.
Mm-hmm.
They can't miss. They got to hope, Mark, that they get that D Rose luck where it's like 0.5 chance that you get it and they get a number 1 pick or somewhere in the top 3 or 4. Because the top 5 players, depending on what your need is Debanza, Peterson, Boozer, Caleb Wilson, and then the Kingston Flemings.
Yeah.
Those are your 5. Those are your 5 guys right there. Depending what your team needs, I think that's where the draft's going to fall. But you want to be in that top 5 of the Bulls. You got to because one of those guys, I think there's like 3 of those 5 guys are superstar quality. I think, in my opinion, the number 1 superstar guy is Debanza because he's got a high motor. He competes every night. I'm a little nervous about Peterson.
Missed a ton of games.
I'm gonna tell you something. You're missing games at the college
level.
Scratched
at the last minute. The game against number 1.
You're missing games, big games.
Yeah.
You're missing games and sitting out like you're in the NBA already.
Yeah, you worry about that.
You got $3 million or $3 or $4 million. I don't know what his NIL money was, but he got big money, and he's sitting out games at the college level. If you're doing that now at the college level, what do you think is going to happen at the pro level for any team?
You worry about his passion, his love for the game. How high does the motor run?
Do you really like to play? Do you love the game? Because if you love the game, an 18-year-old should not be missing as many games as he's missing at Kansas. I mean, it's a distraction to Bill Self and his team. They never can get on track of how good they can be because you want to start building your team and getting momentum going into March Madness. If you got a star player that's been in and out of the lineup for the last 2 months, there's no rhythm. You don't get used to playing with a guy like that.
Yeah, and they beat number 1 Arizona, handing them their first loss of the season without Peterson in the lineup. Our guy, Ricky O'Donnell, who we had on last week's episode, go back and check it out on YouTube if you missed it. He did the Tankathon simulator, and the Bulls jumped up to 4 in his draft, and he had him taking Caleb Wilson, which would be nice. A 6'10" guy who can really attack the offensive glass and a developing offensive game. I think he's going to be dynamite in the league.
I think he's got a little Kevin Garnett in him. Mm-hmm. I think he plays with emotion and passion. He plays with a high motor, and he's highly skilled. You can't go wrong with him or any of the other guys.
Right.
But my top 3, in no particular order, is Debanza, Boozer, and Caleb Williams. And then there's some guys that, listen, let's just
Caleb
say.
Wilson. Caleb Williams is throwing the football.
Yeah. I'm on the Bears right now. It's my bad. I got in at 2:30 in the morning, Bulls Nation. But my whole thought process on this is that what if the Bulls don't get in that top echelon?
Right.
Where do you go now? What's plan B? You have to hit a home run in that draft. You got, because there are going to be stars after the top 5. You just have to know what you're looking for and what you need.
Right.
And which guy do you look as your scouts, and everyone talks about that this guy has star potential, and you can't miss because these drafts now, you got all your draft picks back, got all your first back, and you got 13 second picks, and you can package up deals. They're going to have options. You don't know what, how many of these guys that are on the roster now are going to be back next year.
Right.
They may move, they may move Simons, they may move whoever and package them up to get up, to move up in the drafts or something. You never know. But at the same time, you better have a plan B. If you can't get those top 5 guys, where do we go?
Yeah, because so many of these guys that they acquired are going to be free agents coming up. So a lot of fans are unhappy that they're giving a lot of playing time to Simons and Sexton, who are going to be unrestricted free agents. They're thinking, well, we should play Dillingham and we should play the other guard because they're going to be back, Ivy. And it's a tough thing right now for Billy because Giddey and Trey Jones are out, so he's got the 4 guards that were newly acquired, and he's trying to figure out playing time. Coaches are always going to try to win. Players are always going to compete. It's the front offices that arrange for this whole tanking scenario. We'll get into that in great detail later in the show. But with the Bulls right now, what would you like to see them do in terms of their rotations, in terms of who they should feature?
Well, I like to see Giddey get back. I like to see Trey Jones get back. I like to see Jalen Smith get back. Zach Collins. Because you need to know, if you're AK, you need to know what I have coming back. Can these guys play together? Can these guys all coexist? Who's going to play alongside Josh Giddey? Who's going to be that 2 guard to his point guard? Can that person play off the ball? Can that person hand the ball when Josh is not out and they can slide Josh to the 2? Who's going to guard who? Is Josh going to guard the bigger guards and the smaller person? Let's say Dillingham. Dillingham's going to guard the true point guards. And how's that going to work? You have to find out if these guys can coexist, because you can't go into a training camp next year and guys haven't played together. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you just can't. These guys at least have to play 5 games. I mean, I don't know how serious these injuries are with these guys, but you know, they've missed a ton of games right now. And you'd like to see them come back after All-Star break and see what they can do. You know, because right now what you're seeing is with this team, they're in the games most every night. Probably every game but last night against Boston. They've been in every single game. They run out of gas in the fourth quarter because they don't have the depth, the quality depth to come out and give these guys some breaks. You know, Billy's had to start. He started all these new guys except for Dillingham. He started them all. You know, he's played them like 35 minutes. Some of these guys are not used to playing that many minutes, Mark.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I mean, Dillingham was sitting on the bench on ice.
At that pace.
Yes, at that pace. So now, I'm going to tell you right now, I like Dillingham and I like Ivy. I think Ivy's not 100% right now. I think he's still trying to round into form with that injury. It was a devastating injury. People don't know how devastating that injury was.
Yeah.
It was a dirty play. It could have really, really, you know, impacted his career. And he's not 100%, but you see the intangible things that he can do. He gets steals. He's good. You know, he's quick. Even though his leg's not 100%, he's still quick. You know, he used to be one of the fastest guys from inline to inline in the NBA.
Yep.
And his athleticism jumped off the chart. I think that will come back next year. I think next year, after having a whole year to kind of play through, and he wasn't playing in Detroit, you know, so now he's getting the most minutes he's ever gotten. He's really testing his leg, and now he's starting to figure out, like, hey, you know what? He's getting confidence playing. You know, it's like, okay, my leg can withstand this. I played 38 minutes, you know, back-to-back games. My leg can withstand this. So mentally, his head is right because he now knows he can play and not have to worry about his leg giving out or getting injured.
We've talked a lot about the fact that the Bulls will have money to spend in free agency. You don't necessarily have to go and sign a player outright. You can also do some trades, or you take back more money than you send out. But the Bulls have to get some size. There's no question about it. You know, we talked about all the guards that may or may not be coming back. Don't forget, they're also going to have Noah Senge coming back next year after his shoulder surgery. He's only 19 years old, so next year is going to be his rookie season since he didn't play at all this year. And you got to factor him into the equation. Modest at 21. I think it's incumbent on them to get some size, some real size at that center position, and someone who can protect the rim.
Well, I mean, if you look at Nick Richards is a young kid, I think 24, 25 years old. He's shown the ability to be a rim protector. He can score down low. He's very physical. He's a tough guy. You know, he's a guy that, you know, and when we played against him in Charlotte, he was a monster. You know, then he gets traded to Phoenix along with Mark Williams, and then they drafted Malawala, the kid from Duke. So there was an overload of bigs.
Yeah, he got buried in the rotation.
So he got buried in the rotation.
Yeah.
So now he's got a chance to play here. I've liked what I've seen with him so far. I'd like to see what kind of post-up game he has. You know, I think this offense, you know, has these bigs just setting screens and popping and rolling away from the basket. I'd like to see, does he have a back-to-the-basket game? Can he post up? We know what Zach Collins can do. Zach Collins has a back-to-the-basket game, okay? Sticks, Jalen Smith, he's more of a post-up guy, slasher, dive cutter, rim runner.
And he can shoot the three.
I want to see what Smith does. I want to see what he does inside with these other guys, because Smith is going to be your power forward. If I'm a betting man, I would say he would be your starting power forward. Because listen, the game is trending back to bigs now. Okay, I said this, you know, three years ago. It's not going to be a guard heavy league anymore where it's just like, you know, 4 guards on the floor. Yeah. It's trending now big, you know, big 4s, big 5s, the rebounding, the defense, the rim protection. You're starting to see the NBA start to go back into that direction. And so the Bulls have to stay on course with that. They have to stay up with what's going on. The league can't be in bigs and you're still playing guards because you're going to get killed. Yeah. You know, you saw it this year when they had a 4-guard rotation out there. They were giving up so many offensive rebounds and second chance points. It put them in a hole all the time. Put people in foul trouble. You got smaller guys getting hurt trying to, you know, guard power forwards and centers at 260 pounds. It's just not going to work in this day and age. You've got to have 2 bigs out there.
And in case you're wondering about contract situations, both Nick Richards and Zach Collins will be unrestricted free agents at the end of the year, so they'll obviously be looking for a good contract. Jalen Smith has 1 more year left on his deal at a very team-friendly price, so Sticks will definitely be back, and we'll see how they add to that center position. There's been so much talk about tanking. Some teams have been more blatant than others. There was a game early in the week where the Utah Jazz led by 17 points going into the fourth quarter. They sat all their starters, wound up losing that game. News on Thursday that Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to have a procedure for long-term maintenance of his knee. He's going to miss the rest of the season. So Danny Ainge and company are tanking big time. The Washington Wizards are going to hold out Trae Young and Anthony Davis and make sure they get their top 8 pick. They're tanking. Sacramento is losing just about every game. They're tanking.
They're not tanking on purpose.
Well, they're just
a bad
they're
team.
just bad.
Yeah.
The Indiana Pacers, we've seen the Celtics thrive without Jason Tatum. The Pacers have sunk to the bottom without Tyrese Halliburton. They're tanking.
But I will say this, after seeing Indiana play 2 or 3 times this year, they play hard.
They do.
They just don't have the talent. You've got Obi Toppin missing. Halliburton is such a key for that team. It's like missing 3 people. Siakam still plays and gives you effort every single night. T.J. McConnell still plays and gives you effort every night. They just don't have enough talent right now to compete at the level that we saw them compete at last year.
Well, they traded for Zubac, and they're going to hold him out now. They traded Mathurin out west to get him.
Yeah, so Mathurin's name came up a lot. And he, his role was never defined in Indiana. He's a starter. He's a bench player, bench player. And I'm sure that he wants to go somewhere where he can start. And so they picked up a big, which they need. Indiana needs a big guy. They're used to having, big centers. And Zubac is one of the better centers in the game. So it's a great pickup for them, especially knowing Halliburton's coming back next year.
And the dangerous thing they did in that trade, they sent 2 first-round picks to the Clippers to acquire Zubac, along with Benedict Mathurin and another player. That pick that they sent out for this year is only top 4 protected. So if they don't get lucky with the lottery and get a top 4 pick, the Clippers are going to get that pick this year.
Oh, man.
That's a lot to give up for Zubac.
Let me tell you something, man. All right. 2 firsts for Zubac?
Yeah. And Mathurin.
And they gave up Mathurin, who was a first-rounder.
Yeah.
Like, nah, that's too much, man. Zubac. Look, I like Zubac, but Zubac's not worth 2 first round. I mean, Jaren Jackson, I can see you give him 2, 3 first-round picks because he's former defensive player of the year. He's a rim protector. Right. But Zubac is a good, solid player, but not no 2. If Zubac's got 2 first-round picks, why the hell did Vuce get 2 first-round picks?
Well, that takes us back to our conversation last week. I was very strong in saying I hated the Ayo DeSumo trade. You should have gotten a first-round pick for Ayo. Ayo fits in so seamlessly with that Minnesota Timberwolves team. If they make a 3rd straight trip to the Western Conference Finals, they can thank AK and Mark Eversley for giving them the perfect addition to their squad. And Ayo, he's having a career year, and some of the comments he's made since coming to Minnesota, these guys feel like they've been freed. They're playing on great teams, seeing what that's like to have meaningful games every night. Really, I'm sure you obviously experienced that in your career. When you're playing on a winning team, you show up for work. You got to bounce in your step, as playing for a bad team that you got to look forward to.
Listen, when you're on a winning team, man, like every day is fun.
Yeah.
Every day you look forward to going to work. You look forward to practice. You look forward to the travel because you're going to win. When you're on a losing team, we're never going to win. What are we doing here? We're not going to make it. We suck. I mean, so it's like the life gets sucked out of you when you walk into the building.
Right.
Because you have nothing to play for. The players start to feel it. The management starts to feel it. The coaches start to feel it. Like, there's just an energy that is just draining you, and it's very frustrating. That's why some of these guys who go on these losing teams, I'll use Anthony Simons as an example. He's in Portland. They're not winning,
right.
And he's putting up numbers.
Scoring a lot of points.
He goes to Boston. He gets into Boston and sees how they do things, see how professional it is, see how they prepare, the coaching staff, the players. Now he's got to make a choice. Do I keep the same attitude that I had when I was in Portland and be a gunner and don't care about winning and losing? Or do I fit my talents into what these guys are trying to do to go deep into the playoffs, which I've never been? What did he do? He chose to be a role player, come off the bench. He possibly could have been a 6th man of the year candidate the way he's playing. He's averaging 15 points off the bench. They were talking about moving him to the starting lineup over Peyton Pritchard. So he was revitalized in Boston, and he changed his game to fit into what Boston is doing. When you lose your whole life, you've been on a losing team your whole life, and you get traded to a winning team, man, it's like Christmas. Like, before, it was like before you're like, like the Willy Wonka. You remember when Charlie and all the grandparents lived with each other, and there was no food. They were eating like, lima beans, and you every day you come home, there's no hope. And then all of a sudden you get the golden ticket. getting traded to a winning team was a golden ticket.
Yeah.
And that's what you feel like when you go from a losing team to a winning team.
You know, getting a chance to watch Simons these games, you know, obviously it's been tough for the Bulls. They've lost 6 in a row, but he's almost the Zach LaVine level of shot maker. That shot he made in the corner when he was double teamed, that fadeaway in Brooklyn, that was unbelievable. And he has that ability. You know, he kind of came up under Damian Lillard. You know, they're calling him Baby Dame, and he's taken on some of those aspects of Lillard's game. But he was in a losing program in Portland. Then he went to Boston where he wasn't started. It'd be interesting to see how his career develops because he's still a young guy, and we'll see if the Bulls want to invest in him long term.
Well, I tell you what, I mean, he's a big-time scorer. He's a guy that he doesn't need you to run plays for him.
Right.
He can get his shot on his own. He don't even need a pick and roll. You know, he can just take his man off the bounce. He can get by him. He can finish around the rim. He is a professional scorer. Okay, now the dilemma is with him is he's going to be unrestricted free agent.
Right, and he's already making a lot of money.
Yeah, he's already making a lot of money. He's not going to want to take a pay cut. He's going to have to take a pay cut because the money's just not going to be out there. You know, there'll be some team that may throw money at him that need a scorer. You know, I could see a team saying, "Hey, we'll pay you a certain amount of money," and they would probably meet somewhere close to his demand because he's such a big time scorer. You know, they need scoring, they need shooting, 3-point shooting. His numbers are eerily the same as Kobe's were.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you look at break down the numbers, they're not too far off, and he's very durable. He doesn't miss games. You know, he's played 50. When we got him, he had already played 50 games, so. He's a very durable kid, you know, but someone out there will offer him some money. I don't know how much money is going to be out there on the free
there's not
market.
a lot of teams with cap space.
So, you know, he may have to take a big pay cut. I heard him, you know, he got interviewed in Boston. He was talking about he'd love to go back there.
Wow.
Yeah, he said that yesterday at the press conference. I was like,
the money they're paying Tatum and Brown, he ain't going back there.
Nah,
Unless he wants to play for the minimum.
His thing was he would sacrifice money to win.
Yeah.
You know, because he's been on a losing team his whole career. And you know, when they were interviewing him, he said he really loved Boston. He really loved the fans. He really loved playing with all these guys, and he had no problem. If the cards were right, he could come back and play.
So the Bulls have 28 games left, 27, and it's going to be kind of a tough march the rest of the way. But there's going to be some unintended entertainment along the way. How about Colin Sexton the other day? He split his free throws. He missed the first. He made the second. And then decided he's going to flip off the basket. And it cost him $35,000 fine. It was hilarious to watch in real time, but you knew the league was going to come down hard.
Yeah, you knew it. So as soon as he did, I was like, ching, ching, ching. I thought it might.
He was just so mad at himself.
I thought it was going to be more than 35, but I think the reason why it wasn't, very high. I mean, 35 grand is high.
That's high.
But I think they knew that he wasn't doing it to fans.
Yeah.
He wasn't taunting the fans. It was just he was taunting the backboard because he missed the shot. I'm gonna tell you something, man.
He's an interesting character, isn't he?
He's a guy that you want on your team.
Yeah.
Because he comes to work every single day. He's gonna give you everything he's got. He's gonna bust his tail. He's gonna hustle. He's gonna try to get everybody involved. He's gonna get everybody pumped up. And he plays bigger than he actually is, and he competes. He's got that, and I said this on the air that night. He's got that Russell Westbrook energy that never stops. He's in your face constantly. He's picking at you. He's grabbing you. He's holding you. He's pinching you. He's doing something to kind of irritate you to get you off your game. He's talking to himself. He's having full conversations with himself when the play stops. It's almost like, hey, Colin, what do you think about this play? Well, Colin, I think if you do this, if you go over here, that you may be open. He's like having full conversations, and he's constantly getting himself pumped up. He's like a boxer.
Yeah.
He's like punching his face and hitting his chest, and he's fun to watch. I mean, when he was on other people's teams, I was just like, this dude's crazy.
Yeah.
But you always wanted those crazy guys on your team.
And CHSN had him mic'd up in one of his first games. And usually these mic'd up features are pretty dull. They have him just saying, oh, come on, let's go, guys, and all that.
Yeah.
He like you said, he was carrying on a conversation with himself. That was entertaining. He
sounded like when those old football films, when they had the players like Mike Singletary.
Yeah.
I like this guy to party. He was doing that.
Yeah.
And he wasn't joking around. Like, you got to see his personality. He was in the game the whole time that mic was on. It was talking basketball from the time it turned on to the time it turned off and in between. He wasn't messing around like laughing and giggling like you see some guys like, oh, he fell down or oh, you shot an air ball. This dude was out there talking about screen left, watch right, move up. He's coming right. I mean, he was talking basketball.
They showed great restraint though too, because sometimes you can read his lips.
Well, you knew he had the microphone on.
Yeah, yeah.
That'll hold you back a little bit, but it didn't help him in flipping off the back.
Yeah, well, flipping off inanimate objects. That's great.
Well, we talked about most of the new guys. We haven't really gone into detail about Rob Dillingham. That was kind of a interesting acquisition. Obviously, he's still on his rookie deal. 2 more team option years. Wasn't playing at all in Minnesota. He's undersized. What are you seeing from Dillingham early on?
Listen, if I hear this undersized thing anymore from people, I'm just gonna throw punch people. Because you know why? Because you know why? Because you know why? Peyton Pritchard's undersized. He's 6th man of the year. Okay,
Yeah.
Muggsy Bogues under there. Spud Webb. Listen, heart over height. Period. The kid is highly skilled. He was a high school All-American, McDonald's All-American. He was a college All-American. He can play in this league. He's got the quickness. He's got the vision. He's got everything you need for a point guard. He just needs playing time. He just needs confidence. And I'm going to tell you, whether it's here or somewhere else, I'm telling you, that kid is going to be a stud. Remember, Stacey King told you this. If he's here or somewhere else, he's going to be a stud. That's why it really surprised me with Houston needing a point guard. You could have went to Minnesota and got him for something cheap.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You could have got him easily. They didn't go get him. So he's got a quick first step. He's got great vision. Of all the guards, he can play this pace.
Yeah, well, the Bulls gave up a lot. Of course, he was the big return of the Ayo Dosunmu trade. Also got Leonard Miller as a throw-in that with some second-round draft.
And they got to play Leonard Miller. They got to listen. All hands on deck. The kid's 6'10".
Yeah, he had his brother here, Emmanuel.
Yeah. But he's bigger than Emmanuel. He's 6'10".
Yeah.
He was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. They got to see what he can do. I mean, it's just like Billy. I love Billy, but Billy gets sometimes stuck with the veteran guys that he knows. Okay, we're not in a situation right now to be playing guys we know. We got to see what we can. The guys that we just got in trades, you got to start putting them out there. Win, lose, or draw. You got to put them out there to see if they can contribute to the future of this franchise. You can't see a guy sitting on the bench and go, he can play or he can't play. You know what I'm saying? You're giving, like I said, you're giving guys minutes. Patrick Williams is playing 30+ minutes now. We already know what he can do. We've seen Patrick for 6 years. And we need to see what these other guys can do. We need to see what Dillingham can do. We need to see if we're gonna keep Ivy, or we're gonna keep Yabusele, or we're gonna keep whoever, Nick Richards. We need to see them play consistent minutes the rest of the season, so you can have a fair evaluation of whether they can fit what you're trying to do as a team. Because look what happened to the C-Saint. What's the C-Saint kid who went to Milwaukee? The kid we got from Oklahoma City.
Jang. Usman Jang. He had 5 threes.
He had 5 threes.
How about they picked up Cam Thomas off the waiver wire? Got 34.
Listen, I'm saying to myself, look, here's my number one prerequisite, okay, of any player. If you come out of Oklahoma City's program, I'm taking you. If they offer you, I'm taking you. Because they are one of the best teams at scouting and developing their players. They know what they got. They just have a stock load. The cupboard is full for the next 10 years of solid players. They locked in their top superstar player. They're young. They got to get Casey Wallace and all those guys taken care of, which they will. Yeah. Okay. They're building a brand new arena, which they're going to sell out.
They still haven't paid the luxury tax.
Exactly. And they got a ton of draft picks. Yeah. They got a ton of unprotected first-round picks. So they are good probably for the next 10 years. Mm-hmm. So a guy like Jane, he may not play there. They're such a log jam there. They don't have minutes for him. So it's like when they offered him to you, don't look at it like it was a piece of spoiled meat. They're just getting ready because he's son. He was filet mignon, baby. He was filet mignon. You see the shots he made?
Giannis was actually smiling on the bench last night.
And Cam Thomas, listen, anybody who didn't pick up Cam Thomas.
He could score, man.
Especially a playoff team that you need to score. Yeah. You should be disappointed. Whoever made those calls, y'all should walk in their office and throw punch him. Because this guy is a walking bucket. He's a walking bucket, and he's proven to you since he's been in this league that he can score at all levels. And when they let him go, that was Brooklyn, for whatever reason, let him go, okay? The people I talk to, doesn't have a bad attitude. The kid plays hard, competes. He's not a thorn in anybody's side. he just has confidence in who he is. He has confidence. I'm a great player. I was I played at the top high school. I'm a top recruit. I can play, and he's got confidence, and he plays like he got confidence. He's not afraid to take big shots. I know he struggled in Brooklyn this year more than he's ever had trying to find a shot, but he's also been injured.
Well, they had those 5 rookies there trying to force minutes for
Yes,
him.
and then you got Michael Porter Jr. there who's getting a lot of shots. So he had to learn how to play with another high volume shooter. But I'm telling you, man, like Milwaukee might have stole some more years with Giannis, baby.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, wouldn't it be ironic after all this trade talk for the last year or so that Cam Thomas and Usman Jang are the reason why Giannis stays in Milwaukee?
Yeah,
and
then if they can get some picks,
they get a lottery pick. They get lucky in a lottery.
They get a lottery. Imagine if you get like the Banza or Boozer,
to put that,
and put in there. Giannis ain't going nowhere.
And the Rollins kid is pretty good too. So then all of a sudden you got a nice little team.
You got a nice little team. And they got some other good young players there, that wing players that are pretty nice, that are starting to come into their own right now. Listen, it's all about patience, man. I know Giannis has been to the mountaintop, but every team goes through a situation where it's a rebuild situation. Some people go shorter, some people go longer. And I know his frustration is because it's like, well, we fell so quickly. We went from being a championship team to thinking we're going to repeat the next year, not even getting close. So the frustration is there, and they've tried to put people around him. He's
they've tried everything.
They tried everything, but he's kind of like LeBron. He wants to be the GM now. And when you let the players be the GM and they're picking the wrong people, it shows. So now they went out and got some guys that kind of fell into their lap, and they look like they're going to be pretty good pieces there for him. And now, like I said, if you get in there and you get in that draft and you get lucky, and you get somebody that he likes, who knows? Now he might want to stay.
We'll talk more about the tanking controversy in the NBA on the other side. First, I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, our buddy Jeff Vucevic. He will take care of all your insurance needs, auto, home, and business. You can reach him at jeffvuk.com, VUK.com. You look at the nice little banner, Stacey, at the bottom of our screen. Cisco working overtime. Looking good. There you see Jeff with all your information you need. That's jeffvuk.com. The phone number on your screen, 847-825-4783. Stacey's going to sing one more jingle before it hits the Florida, right? Please?
You guys are really asking. You're asking a lot today for your boy. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Got in at 2:30. His pipe's a little rusty. Didn't get no sleep. Didn't go to bed till 4:30. But I'll do my best because I'm a performer. If Michael Jackson can do it, I can do it. Nationwide is on your side.
Nicely done, Stacey King, before his Florida vacation. One more time with feeling for Jeff Vucevic. Make sure you
That's
contact
my boy
him
Jeff.
for
That's
all
you,
your
Jeff.
insurance needs. We're coming right back. We will talk about the tanking controversy and our thoughts on the Super Bowl and what the Bears need to do to play in Super Bowl 61. That's next on Give Me the Hot Sauce. As we mentioned, it's All-Star Weekend coming up in the NBA. They're playing at the Intuit Dome out in Inglewood, California. That's a beautiful arena. It'll be a nice showcase for the league. Unfortunately, a lot of people are saying they should just scrap All-Star Weekend because of the way the games have deteriorated. They're trying a new format this year. 2 USA teams, 1 international team. They're going to play a round robin. They're actually playing it late afternoon because they're sandwiching in on NBC between Olympic coverage. I mean, it's just, everything just keeps getting worse, it seems. If they would, I know we talked about this, but if they just would have had USA against the world, they had to water it down by trying to get 24 guys in and splitting them into 3 teams. It's just insanity they can't get this right.
Mark, they could have got the world versus USA easily.
Sure.
Easily could have got it. Just 2 teams. Let's play. The best team wins. Yeah. Okay? Here's another thing you should add. One-on-one games. That's what they should do. Have one-on-one. Or have play horse. Like they used to do on TV. Used to watch horse on CBS.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I remember Paul Westphal. That's how I knew who Paul Westphal was, because he always won.
He was good, yeah.
He was really good.
Creative trick shots.
Very creative, trick shots. They need to bring that back one-on-one. But they could have just easily went world versus US. But they just felt like, I guarantee you, they knew that the world would beat them and beat them handily. Because if you know all the players that are going to be on the world, if you took the top 12 world players, Giannis would be on there, the Joker, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Luka, Wemby, Lou Dort. I mean, they got defense. They got Andrew Wiggins be on from Canada. I mean, there's a ton of guys that they could have gotten.
Yeah, Gimme might have been able to get in. With
Yeah.
12-man team.
Well, he missed too many games. He missed a chance. But Valanciunas, I mean, they could have got 12 guys
easily.
And then you would have had to go against, I mean, who were going against the U.S.?
Well, you got the old
Jaylen
guard.
Brown,
Durant, Steph Curry.
LeBron's not going to play in that game because he already knows. He already knows it's over. They would have waxed.
Well, you got Ann Edwards, Devin Booker, Jalen Brunson, guys like that.
Yeah, they
Jalen Brown.
They got waxed.
Yeah, probably so.
That's why they didn't want to do it. That's why they didn't want to do it. Let's add a third team, and then we'll have a 3-way game, so no one looks bad.
Yeah,
man, come on, man.
You know what? Nick Wright, Fox. I don't know if you ever watched that show they have on there. First Things First. He suggested having all white guys against the.
That's racist.
No,
that's racist. We already live in a tough time right now, Mark.
Yeah, Doncic and
yeah. Austin Reeves and all that.
Yeah.
No, I saw that. Come on, man. You shouldn't even say nothing like that.
No, that's desperation.
That is desperation.
Like
that. White versus black. Come on, man. Let's play prison ball. Like, I mean, what are you talking about, Nick? Right? It's already divisive as it is right now, and now you trying to be a black against white in a basketball game. Come on, man.
How about short guys versus tall guys?
Oh,
yeah.
man.
No?
6 foot and under league. 6'5" and under league.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
That'd be fun.
Listen, the game would be better if the players would just compete.
Yeah.
For one night, want to see who's the best. For one night, go out there, bust your butt, hustle, play hard, go one-on-one. Ever since Kobe left and that group of people left, Kevin Garnett and all those guys, you probably will never see a competitive All-Star game again.
Yeah.
This might be the last chance if the Europeans hold their end of the bargain and say, go out there and destroy these guys. Because they play with pride anyway. Because their countrymen will be watching. So they don't want to go out there and get, hammered.
Yeah.
Because they already think that they're better than Americans anyway in basketball.
Yeah, we don't know if Luka's going to play. He's coming back from a hamstring injury. What's that?
How about by looks? People vote on their looks, and then they have to play each other.
Hey, why not?
How about by bank accounts?
No,
I won't do that.
Underrated versus overrated?
No.
They've got to do something to save the game.
I'm trying to come up with something.
And now All-Star Saturday night, Mac McClung kind of saved the dunk contest. A little guy doing those spectacular dunks, but he's not competing this year. And word just came out this afternoon. He also had to drop out of the Rising Stars game. I do the Windy City games. He had a good game last night, but he got injured, calf injury. So he's not going to be able to compete in the Rising Stars game. Modest will be out there. So, the slam dunk field is really watered down. It's like, 4 reserve guys with not big name players. They just can't get guys to buy into All-Star Weekend anymore.
Well, because they get there's nothing there for them. There's no incentive. Yeah. They make so much money that they don't need it anymore. Most back in the day, the All-Star game meant something. It was a pride thing, but you also got paid. Guys went there, and the winners got paid, and the guys went there to go play for the money because they weren't making a lot of money. Now these kids are making $40, $50 million, and the All-Star game means nothing to them. What they've lost sight of, it means something to fans.
Right.
These are the people that pay your salaries. These are the people that give you the money to drive the nice cars and live in the big houses. You owe it to them for one weekend to maximize your abilities like super friends. You guys are like superheroes. You're iconic. You owe it to them to come up there and show up and play hard and compete.
And football season's over. I mean, you've got the entire world watching you. And now this is an Olympic year, so some people are watching the Winter Olympics. But in a normal year, that's the only thing going is All-Star Weekend.
Well, and you already lost a lot of viewers over Christmas. The NFL now has snuck in on Christmas, and is taking some of your thunder away. So this could have been a really good chance for you to reinvent yourself and reinvent yourself and get all those people that you might have lost back. But with the way the game is being played right now, a lot of people are frustrated with the tanking. A lot of people are frustrated with guys sitting out, load management, all the constant 3-point shooting, and just kind of a up and down league, no defense, no skills being shown. A lot of people are frustrated, and they're letting you know by not buying tickets.
Yeah, they're going to play it between Olympic coverage, like at 4:00 in the afternoon on Sunday.
Ooh.
No Steph Curry, no Giannis, no Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, all out because of injury. So definitely a watered down event. And the most interesting event of All-Star Weekend might be the commissioner's news conference because he's going to get hit hard on this whole tanking story. I mean, you've got 8 to 10 teams that are overtly trying to lose, try to get into that top 4. Something has to be done to change the system. Stacey and I were talking about it before we began the show, and I know you've talked about this a lot. Zero the records for the bottom teams. Let them play it off, and whoever has the most wins after the All-Star break is the first pick.
At first, last year I said let's have a tournament.
Yeah,
have a tournament, but with the in-season tournament, it's just too long. Okay, so that wouldn't work. It would be fun because it'd give the fan bases something to cheer for. Have, let's say, the best 3 out of 5, but you can't do it because of the in-season tournament, and then you got the playoffs going at the same time. But I felt the best way to do it is at the end of the season when you come to All-Star break, there's about 25 games left, okay? You come back from All-Star break, you identify who the lottery teams, whether it's, 8 or whether it's 14, whatever it is, you identify those guys, and you say from this point forward to the end of the season, what your record is at the end of these 25 games depends where you draft.
Yeah, give them incentive. And then the fan bases would actually get excited because you're competing for something, especially in a year like this where you've got potentially 3 or 4 generational talents and your team is competing hard to try to get one of those guys. Now, people say, well, the players don't care about draft picks because those guys are going to take their job.
If you're on a losing team,
and
you're getting your butt
and
kicked
the coaches
every night.
damn well care.
Yeah, you getting your butt kicked every night, and you're never competing for anything. Yeah, you want as much talent as you can get.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're eliminating teams from sitting players, load management. No more sitting out the fourth quarter when you're up 17. You just eliminate that, and you make teams have to earn the right. Now, people will say, well, what if someone has a favorable schedule? Oh, well, they got an easy schedule this year.
Yeah.
The next year, someone else have easy schedule. You play the teams that's on your schedule. If you got to play San Antonio 3 times, you got to play Denver 3 times. Oh, well, that's just part of it. If you want that number 1 pick, then your players are going to go out there and you're going to compete. And you got to go out there and you got to, if you want that number 1 pick, number 2, number 3, you better finish in that top 4.
It makes the trade deadline a lot more interesting then too, because you might be making a trade for that
sell
tournament.
off players for cheap just because you want to drop in the standings. You keep your guys because you're competing for something. And a lot of people think that, well, you can't make a game count twice. They already do at the NBA Cup.
Yeah.
It counts in the Cup standings and regular season. What Stacey is saying, these games still count on your regular season record, but you've got a separate category. The final 25 games will determine the top 4 picks in the lottery.
Yes, and you're playing 82 games regardless. You're still playing 82 games. You're just taking the last 20 or 25 games of your season to determine where you fall in the draft. And like I said, if you were number 1, let's say we do 20 games and someone finishes 17-3. Well, they get the number 1 pick.
Yep.
Everybody else was lower than that. Then they go whoever's second place, third place.
Yeah,
There's
right
no
on
champion.
down.
It's just the best records. And then once you figure out who the best records are, that's your draft pick. That's where you're going to draft.
Yeah, it's really not that difficult to institute. And I think that would give fan bases and teams a lot more motivation because let's face it, when you've got a game where you've got 15 to 20,000 people in the stands and they see a team sit their starters for the fourth quarter, and then Will Hardy, the coach of the Utah Jazz, was questioned afterwards, why'd you bench your starters? He said, well, that's just the way we're going to operate. They didn't call timeouts. It just basically rolled over. And this is professional sports. You can't have that.
Well, and especially with gambling.
Right.
You got gambling involved now. So, everything is out there now that can have people question certain things, So that's one thing you don't want to happen. People questioning like, what is this? Is this gambling motivated? You don't want people to think that. But at the end of the day, this tanking has to stop. And if you want to stop it, like I said, it's not hard. Adam Silver, you want to talk to me? I've had a couple of great ideas. I know I know your people haven't thought of these things, but you might want to give me a call. I can set this up for you. I even let you get credit for it, but everybody knows that it was me who said it. Again, after the All-Star break, I repeat myself. After the All-Star break, you got about 25 games, or however many games you want to end up. You can say we don't want 15. The last 15 games, the best record out of those 15 games gets the number 1 pick. Doesn't matter how you set it up, but that's how you do it. After All-Star break, you'll know pretty much which teams are going to be there. You'll know after All-Star break. Now, Mark made a good point. There could be 1 or 2 teams that could jockey for position and get out of the lottery. Okay, well, then we'll go to 8 teams then. The top 8 teams will determine who gets that. So there's ways you can do it. There's ways you can circumvent it just in case that particular thing happens. But it's got to be done. That's the only way you really can keep people from tanking.
Yeah, because we head into a weekend that's supposed to be a landmark for the NBA, a showcase event, and all people are talking about is this tanking controversy. So Adam Silver will be asked many questions about it during his news conference. We'll see if they're going to try to finally do something bold and change it where losing teams are actually playing for something instead of sitting there, guys, and just making a mockery out of the league. Speaking of a mockery, did you watch the Super Bowl? Wow, that was bad. That was one of the most unentertaining games in a while. We all picked Seattle, so not that we were geniuses. That was a pretty obvious pick, but I was just almost embarrassed for New England. I mean, I know Drake May had to get a pain-killing injection. He said after the game, so he wasn't 100%, but they just didn't seem like they were ready to play.
Well, Mark, they struggled against Denver. They barely beat Denver without
Snow saver.
without having their stud quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, so that was something to look at, and they didn't make adjustments. It seemed like they came out and they said, "This is what we're going to do. This is Josh McDaniel. This is the play calls we're going to do, and we've been running them all year. We're going to stick to that." Listen, you can have a game plan when you walk out there, but everybody has a game plan until you get hit, as a great Mike Tyson said.
That's right. You
Okay?
get punched in the mouth.
So you get punched in the mouth. Yeah, okay. So it's no different in football. If you see that their defensive line is such a dominating defensive line, how about some quick hitters? How about some quick bubble screens? How about some, throw it out to the running back in the flats like Seattle did? Their running back was killing. I thought for a moment the kicker was going to be the MVP.
Right.
He scored. He had the first 12 points.
Yep.
And I'm like, has there ever been a kicker win the MVP of a Super Bowl? And I don't think
Vinatieri might have won it one year. We'd have to look it up.
You have to look it up. Look that up, Cisco. I don't think so, Mark. I never heard of it. I mean, he might have, but I never heard a kicker winning. So, but if you're on a team with Tom Brady, that definitely didn't happen. So we can scrap that one. But I honestly thought the kicker from Seattle was going to win the MVP, and he probably should have. Because he's the one that kept them going. They had the drive stalled every time inside of 20.
Well, Kenneth Walker did have a legit.
Yeah, he had a legit
game.
Yeah, he had a legit game, but no, that's why. Way to go, Cisco.
Cisco's all over it. Way to go.
He's all on it. Yeah, he's on like a cheap suit. But I knew it wasn't New England because Tom Brady normally has gotten them. But at the same time, I thought their kicker did a great job. Their defense was phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's been phenomenal all season long. It dismantled San Francisco. In the playoffs, it dismantled the Rams. I mean, they were their front four. That tells you what the Bears need. The Bears, if Bears are watching that, they need to go out and get them some pass rushers, some guys that they can put pressure on the quarterback. Guys,
well, Max Crosby, he's unhappy.
Well, they need to go get him. Whatever they got to do, go give him a year's supply of Captain Crunch. Whatever you got to go do, go get Max Crosby, or go try to go get Myles Garrett. Whatever you got to do.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got to give up, what football's a little bit different than basketball. You can get away with giving somebody like late round picks for a guy.
Well, it'd be kind of like if you wanted Max Crosby, it's at least a number one and probably a number two, I would think.
Okay. What about Myles Garrett?
You're not getting Myles Garrett. No. That'd be off the charts expensive. That costs you 3 number ones.
Sure.
Do you think these guys worth it?
For one player, I don't think so. No, because you can scheme against a guy. I mean, obviously they're hugely disruptive, and Micah Parsons before he got hurt was a big benefit to the Packers. But 3 number ones, I don't think I'd do that.
Mm-mm.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, I play a lot of Madden. I'm making that trade. Okay, I'm getting me.
Stacey's wheeling and dealing.
If I can get Myles Garrett, and he's got he's a generational talent, and he's still young.
Yeah,
and he's not even in his prime yet. He's stepping into his prime right now. I might have to go get him. Because that's the one area the Bears could, and offensive line help. It's a little bit more offensive line help, but they get them some pass rushers to put pressure on the quarterback. Oh, my goodness. That could be it.
What people forget, though, is they did go into free agency. They brought in this young guy, Odengbo, from the Colts, and he got hurt early in the year. They thought he was going to be a pass rusher on the other side of Montez Sweat, but then he had to go on IR, and he was done. I think they're paying him like $19 million or something crazy.
Mm-hmm. See, that's what I'm talking about, Mark. This is the wrong people.
Yeah, you got to evaluate talent.
If you're going to invest, $19, $20 million, man, go get Max Crosby. Yeah. Go put $35 million on the table. Go get Parsons,
Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, go get those guys who are proven. I mean, even like a guy like T.J. Watt, even though he's been hurt a lot the last couple of years, he's still one of the best pass rushers in the game. So I mean, you got to.
Cisco, look up what Odengbo's making for the Bears. I'm curious. I know it was a lot of money. It probably wasn't $19 million, but it was crazy money for a guy that didn't have many sacks in his career. They brought him in as thinking that playing an opposite Sweat with a good secondary, he would have a chance to get some numbers. But then he got hurt. I think he had 1 sack.
Listen, that's what they've looked at as a guy that hasn't reached his potential, and we had a few great ones there with Byard and obviously Burden in the draft, and so it just depends on who you.
How
pull
close
up.
do you think the Bears are, guys, to the Super Bowl?
I'm all in.
Listen, I think they're
Next
damn
year.
close.
Yeah.
But it's all going to depend on what they do in the offseason and address the areas that they need that they were exploited. They're going to have to. The pass rush should be a number one priority, and I think what you got, Cisco? You signed a 3-year, $48 million contract.
So I'm not good at math, but that's $16 million a year.
Yeah. You got
So
a signing
that's-
bonus, 13 and 14.
Yeah, that's a lot of money for one sack.
For a guy that had 1 sack. And then, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You got to be very careful about, especially in NFL, paying a guy on what you think their potential is. Okay. I think you got to see a guy, his productivity, what he's done. Crosby's, those guys who are proven, guys that get after the quarterback. They're proven guys. And if you're going to pay that kind of money, at least put your name in the hat trying to get one of those guys.
Yeah.
So, or you build to the draft, and it's getting harder and harder to find, legitimate pass rushers in the draft. Oh.
Cisco making an appearance here,
Oh,
adjusting
there he is.
cameras. Yeah,
Got
there's
his
his
armpit
forearm.
armpit in the camera. Nobody want to see that, Cisco.
Yeah, I think we were okay. Not to get into any politics or anything. What do you guys think of the halftime show?
I liked it.
Yeah.
Listen, man. First of all, everybody made such a big deal out of it. The people who didn't want to see it,
Right.
that was so silly.
Right.
Like, you know what? Oh, he's not American. Oh, come on, man.
Yeah,
Puerto
he is.
Rico, come on. Puerto Rican is American. Come on,
It's
man.
a U.S. citizen.
It's a U.S. citizen. Come on now. Just because what you find out with a lot of these people, because they don't understand it, they don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
They do a lot of people, the people who support, the president and those guys, and you bring Kid Rock up there to sing a song. Like,
right.
Man, that guy. First of all, he's a vulture culture. I mean, he's a what do you call it? Vulture. Culture vulture.
Yeah.
Like he comes over, he wanted to be a hip hop artist. And got into rap, and they let him in the door. Steals all that. Then he says, "You know what? Thanks, guys, making me famous. Now I'm gonna go over here to rock and roll, and I'm gonna be a rock and roll guy now that I'm famous over here." And then he became a country guy. It's terrible. So it's like, make up your mind, dude. And then he's up there singing, and did you see how many people were there? It was like, man, like it was somebody's backyard.
Yeah, Tim Kelley had to leave an important business call, so that's
Yeah, he
why
got kidnapped.
Cisco was adjusting the cameras. It's just
go,
Stacey
Cisco.
and I left here to
That's
round
pretty
out
much
the
how it
show.
is all the time because Tim never says anything. So it's just normally just me and Mark here.
Hey, baseball started. Spring training, pitchers and catchers reporting, and it was interesting. Pete Kerr Armstrong met the media, and one of the first things he was asked about was his bromance with Caleb Williams. They showed up at a Bulls game. They showed up at the Blackhawks game. It's kind of funny to see two guys from different sports in Chicago. When you talk about, remember back in the day, it was like Walter Payton and Jordan and Sammy Sosa. Now we're getting this new generation of stars, which is pretty cool.
Well, and Modest is part of that group too. Modest hangs out.
absolutely.
Modest hangs out with those guys too. So they just happen to come see Modest play. But normally Modest is at Bears games, and I'm sure he'll be at baseball games this year supporting them too. So it's really cool because all these guys are young. They're still kids.
Right.
And they're just walking into their celebrity kind of fame right now. Chicago is the best city in the world to be a pro athlete. So and they're starting to realize that now and starting to make themselves a little bit more accessible to the fans. And it's really cool to see.
Yeah, it's really a fun era. You throw in Connor Bedard of the Blackhawks, and we've got some of the brightest young stars in the game. The Cubs made the playoffs last year. The Bears made the playoffs. We got to get the Bulls, the Blackhawks, and the White Sox to follow suit as well. But the White Sox are looking to make a jump in the standings this year. They won 19 more games last season than they did the year before. They're hoping to take another jump, and the Cubs are hoping to challenge the Dodgers, but they look like a juggernaut. I don't know who could beat the Dodgers this year.
No, the Dodgers might as well just split their team up and play against each other in the World Series. Because
They have two teams,
they're
right?
two teams. That's the only team going to beat them is another Dodger team of their teammates. Because I don't see anybody, unless you're willing to do what the Yankees used to do in the 70s and 80s and just outspin everybody, which now the Dodgers have taken that to another level. They're spending money like they don't care. They don't care how much money's out there. They want to win.
Well, they cornered the market on Japanese talent,
Yes.
with bringing in Shohei Ohtani. Yamamoto
Smart move.
was, the key player in the World Series, pitching in relief in Game 7. They've got Roki Sasaki, who didn't really pitch a lot last year. He's going to be a big factor in their rotation this year. And then they had extra money because all these guys deferred payments. They bring in Kyle Tucker, who had an up and down year with the Cubs, but he was considered one of the top players in baseball. And then they get Diaz. They steal Diaz from the Mets because they didn't have an elite closer. Now they have an elite closer.
Diaz with the music comes in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
They'll be playing that in LA as he runs out to take the mound.
Listen, if I was an NBA player, I'd come out to that music too. When I come in and check in the game, they're gonna play that song with me. Yeah. Matter of fact, I think they're gonna do that when me and Adam come out on the floor. I'm gonna have them play that when I go do the open. I'm gonna have CHSN play that. I can walk out to that theme song. Dun, 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 the little trumpet.
Yeah. It's going to be something. Baseball will be fun. We always like the fact that springtime is around the corner. We're supposed to get 50s in the coming week in Chicago.
Yeah.
You'll be in Florida, of course, to enjoy even better temperatures. But it's nice to know that we're on the back end of winter.
Well, I tell you what, I was a little nervous about the groundhog. He went back in and they said another 4 weeks of cold. I started to try to find out where he was.
That's a lock in Chicago.
Yeah, I started to try to find out where he was.
Yeah,
go visit Mr. Groundhog. But do you blame the groundhog? Do you blame if you woke up from a deep sleep and walked out and started yelling, and you see like 100 people out there with a band, you don't know if they're there to kill you, to eat you. You don't know. You just came out. You've been sleeping for the whole winter. You come outside and there's a band playing. Yeah. There's guys with top hats on. It's just a weird environment for a groundhog. And he's thinking to himself, like, okay, are they here to kill me or eat me? Let me go back in. So no wonder why he went back in, because the weather here in Chicago is nice. Listen, when it comes 50 degrees here in Chicago, that's like summertime to us, okay? We look forward to 50 degrees, okay? I was down in Florida. We went to Miami about a week ago, and it was like in the 40s and people walking around with parkas.
Yeah. Hopefully you get some good weather, because I know it was bad.
It's supposed to be 75. It's supposed to be 75 out there.
Good. Hey, it's time for one of our favorite segments, What Are We Watching? Brought to you by our friends at Angel Water. Give Andy a call, and they'll make sure to test your water, make sure it's up to snuff.
I keep casing
Andrew Wilson, look at that. Look at that bottom.
Look at that
on YouTube.
Look at him. And he doesn't even look like that anymore.
Wow, that's a nice photo.
That was a picture of him in high school.
Wow, that's really good. He got his teeth whitened for the photo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
got
looking good.
Got his head kind of like
Chief Little Legs.
He's auditioning for The Bachelor, the Golden Bachelor. Look at it, little Chief Little Legs.
He'll be happy with that. Give him a call.
Yeah, give him a call.
847-382-7800. They'll test your water.
I keep a case of his water. It's some good water. Trust me.
Absolutely. So we want to thank our friend Andy for his sponsorship. Hope he enjoys the All-Star break as well. Anything else we got to do before we go? Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to thank Stacey and Tim for coming out. It was Stacey's bobblehead night at Now Arena last Friday. They had a special Bulls night. They had all the championship trophies. I actually stole a pair of Stacey's game worn shorts.
I've been looking for those too. I was like, oh, y'all had them? Oh, there I am right there, baby. This king out there, baby. I got a nice reception.
Yeah, that was great.
The fans were awesome. The bobblehead night went awesome. They had like 1,500 bobbleheads, went like super fast. And it was my first time at Now Arena. I got a chance to sit in and watch a game, and I was sitting in the front row, like I was VIP. I was like, this is pretty cool. I got to talk to Mark and Will on there. They were doing the broadcast of the game, so it felt weird for me not to have headsets on from the start. I just happened to put them on, and then I was talking to y'all watching the game at the same time. But I had a blast, man. Shout out to the Bulls and the Windy City crew over there, Mike Vegan, my guy who set that up. And I look forward to coming back out there again and checking out the game.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming out. It was a great
night. And
night.
if you can't get to a Bulls game, go to a Windy City game. It's great family entertainment. It's affordable. It's a lot of fun. Your kids will love it. It's very interacting. People in the players, everybody. It's just an awesome place to be.
And a lot of the Japanese fans in the area are coming out to watch Yuki. He had a huge game last night. I was look up the numbers. He had a double-double. Just crazy what he's been doing. 34 points, 16 assists last night.
Listen, this kid is an NBA player, okay? Again, he's not going to get the looks that he should get because they think he's too small.
Right.
Okay? But if you're a good coach, you know how to hide him. You know how to put him in situations where his height won't be a problem.
He's fearless.
And he'll take charges. He'll take elbows to the face. He dives on the floor. I mean, he goes in there and rebounds. You know, the smallest guy on the floor will come up with the rebound. You're like, how did he get that? He's the smallest guy on the floor.
And he'll have a couple of plays that'll just jaw droppers. He had a play where he wove through two big guys, threw it back over his shoulder to a guy you didn't even know he saw for a dunk, and you're doing the game. You're going, how did he do that? I mean, it's just crazy.
Well, he threw a lob. I saw the highlight. He threw a lob to Matt McClung. And I didn't even know how he got it up. First of all, because there was a bigger guy trying to take it from him. You know,
they had a 7-2 center on the other team.
And so he threw it over the guy, and then all of a sudden Matt McClung came out of nowhere, and I was really interested to see Matt McClung. I knew what Yuki could do.
Yeah,
you know, I know because I've seen him, but I wanted to see what Matt McClung did for Windy City. That was the first time getting a chance to see him play. He's also an NBA player. It's time for NBA teams to give that kid a chance. There's no way in the world that he can keep becoming like the MVP of the G League, the dunk champion. He's shown you all the things you need to see what he can do. You know, first, like, can he play point guard? Now he can show you can play point if you want him to play point. He's a combo. He's a shooting guard. He's athletic. He can finish over anybody. It's time for teams to take these guys, take the eye test. Stop trying to look at the measurements. Look at the eye test and watch these guys perform and give these kids a chance to get to the next level. They're very good players.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier in the show, unfortunately, Mac McClung had to drop out of the Rising Stars game because of a calf injury that he suffered in the game last night. Hopefully they get him back. He signed a two-way deal with the Bulls a week or so ago, and it's a really great opportunity for him. He's put in his time. He's shown that he's more than just a dunker, and hopefully he'll have a chance to get some NBA minutes, whether it's in Chicago or somewhere else. Well, I think we've done enough damage for 1 week. Stacey's got to pack and get ready to go to Florida.
Yes. Oh, Lord, it's my early flight tomorrow. Early flight. I had to get all the information from Tim, make sure that when I get there, I don't get arrested for being in his house.
The alarm
goes off. Excuse me, sir, you're not Mr. Kelley. What are you driving Mr. Kelley's car around for? You know, I don't need any of that.
Be careful down there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I told Tim. I said, make sure all I's are dotted and all T's are crossed. I don't want no problems when I go down there. I don't want to be scooped up, thrown in the paddy wagon. I'm all on the internet. You know what I'm saying? Wait a minute, I didn't do anything. What are you people doing to me? I'm on viral. Stacey King got arrested. Trespassing. Breaking into a home. Oh, no, bro. No, don't get me like that, bro. Come on now. So,
well, we wish you warm weather. Have a lot of fun on your week off. And Bulls return to action next Thursday. It's a home game, right?
Yeah, we're home. We're home pretty good while now before we go. I think March we go back out. So I'm looking forward to being at home.
So, folks, enjoy the All-Star break. Get away from it all for a little while. And Stacey will be back next week. And we'll look forward to another edition of the Gimme the Hot Sauce podcast coming up soon. Don't know exactly sure when the next episode. We got to see when Stacey's back from Florida. So, until then.
I'll be looking like Tim. I'll be a lobster. Drive home safely, Chicago. Beep, beep.
He didn't come for the massage. He came for the facial.
Don't zoom on. Does anybody know how to post videos to Facebook?
There's a block right behind you to get the invitation.
That's a huge three.
Mustard!
Lonzo left alone.
Sauce.
Able to swerve, bend that corner. That's the last time I'm going to see it. Williams straight on. Got it.